Hey friends, it's Becca with Beautiful Miss Plans. I am here to give you guys a look at my travel journal. So in case you missed it, which I don't know how you could have because I talked about it several times, but in case you're new, I guess you wouldn't know. My family and I just recently went on a trip to Disney World and we got back and I did my travel journal. So we're not going to put it together on camera, but I thought I would show you what my travel journal looks like. Maybe we'll take a peek into what I did last year as well, just so you kind of have an idea of where my progression is. So we'll start out with this cover. This is an A5 Planner Perfect. It is called the Stella, which, in case you're wondering, yes, I also do have it in the B6 size that I've been using this month. B6 size is a lot more scratched up, but I don't care. But I really liked the brown leather. I got this originally in this A5 size, and then I bought it in the B6 when I really liked it. And so I've been using this. So right now I have this book. Oops, that tag is coming off. I used this size last year. I'll flip as I talk. I used this size last year because there was a Cocoa Daisy travel kit that came with, or that you could buy a cover that was travel-y. And so I bought the cover, and so I used this size. And this was our Colorado trip last year. I'll flip quickly. There are other videos of me walking through this. And I just documented our trips for the year. I don't think I almost filled it all up. And then I put like a page in between. So this was our trip to the beach. I mostly used pretty much all Cocoa Daisy, different Cocoa Daisy kits to actually decorate it. As we went, I print my own pictures at home. I just get photo paper and then I just use my printer and I size stuff down. I basically use Publisher. I make the Publisher page the size that I want and then I lay it all out and then I print my pictures to the size that I want. Went to Star City. I think I had ran out of my glue runner or my tape runner, so I just used glue, and so the pictures aren't super stuck down. We did a trip to the Omaha Zoo, another Star City trip for Harvest Fest, and I did put tabs on them originally, and then another Star City trip, and then that was the end of that book. But I decided that I wanted more room. So that's why we are now in the A6 size, which I'll take this book out. I just keep my random like pamphlets and maps and stuff back here for now. At some point I'll figure out a better solution, but that's what I'm doing for the time being. So I wanted more room to document our travels. So I got this book. It's also Planner Perfect. It's just the one with the camera on it. I just bought it as is. It actually says remember when. And this is what I'm using until I fill it up, and then I'll get a new book. And so far I'm loving it. So I'll probably make a title page for 2024 in here. I don't know if we'll have 2 years worth of trips in here because we've already done our big trip. We'll see. And then I accidentally got glue right here, so I put a sticky note so it stops sticking. We went to the zoo and I wanted to document, our trip to the zoo, and I used like happy planner stickers, and I decided that this was going to kind of be the thing to like show off, so that I printed that with my pictures. And then we had a Soror City trip. I used the map that kind of looks like a newspaper in the background of it, again Cocoa Daisy stuff. And then we get into Disney, which is actually why we are here. I used a mix of Cocoa Daisy, the June Cocoa Daisy stuff, and I used a mix of the Disney Happy Planner books. These are my stamps. I just got alpha stamps from Amazon. You literally just type in alpha stamps, and that's what I got. And then the date stamps are from Cocoa Daisy. So we left on May 31st. It was a long day of driving. It was over 8 hours of driving. We did stop along the way at a really cool park in St. Louis called Forest Park. Just for lunch, we made lunches and, save a little bit of money. And then when we got to Nashville, because we stayed outside Nashville, they had White Castles. And I grew up eating White Castles, and I love White Castles. And they don't have them in our area anymore, in the Kansas City area. So super bummed. but they have them there and they were delicious and well worth it. We can get like the ones in the freezer section heated up. It's just not the same. It's not the same. I love White Castles. And then our first day of doing something was we went to the Atlanta Zoo, and we were driving through Atlanta anyway, and my oldest loves pandas. So we're like, well, before they leave, I mean, now at this point, I think there are pandas coming back to the National Zoo. I don't know if there's other pandas coming back to the States, but we wanted to make sure that she had the opportunity to see pandas. So we stopped in the Atlanta Zoo, which was a little bit chaotic because the day before there was a citywide water main break. So we weren't even sure they were going to be open. And then we got there and it was super crowded, and I realized that it was the 25th year celebration of the pandas. So there was a lot of people everywhere. But we walked around, we saw everything, saw the pandas twice. Saw a Komodo dragon, which I was actually really excited about. And then I didn't even take a picture of it. It was huge. We don't have that at our zoo. But it was pretty cool. It was a fun day. And then we just stayed in the area. Well, we were going to stay in the area, and then we got to the hotel and just funky vibes. And we're like, let's keep going. So we went a little bit farther, which meant the next day we had a little bit less to drive. But that was that day. And then the next day we actually got to Orlando, which was super exciting. We went and ate at the T-Rex Cafe. When we got there, we went straight down to Disney Springs. My husband, I took a picture of him looking at the bill, and he said, you can caption that one, the full Disney experience, because he was looking at the bill, and, you know, Disney's costly, and we had saved up for this trip over the course of many years, but it's costly. So T-Rex Cafe, we walked around Disney Springs. So these are some of the Legos down there. And then every time my kids saw something, they're like, take a picture with them. So took pictures with different things. And then we actually stayed in the Art of Animation Resort, which was one of the value resorts, but it has the family suite. So we had enough room for everyone to have a bed. My husband and I even had our own room, and we had 2 bathrooms. So loved it. We had a Cars themed room, but we walked around the whole resort. And so that's why we have a picture with Rafiki, because we did a circle around the resort, but we basically stayed in the Cars area. So we finally made it. Our first day in, we went into Hollywood Studios. We were going to do Magic Kingdom, but we knew Magic Kingdom was going to be a really long day. And since we just got off of traveling, we decided to do a less long day and did Hollywood Studios, which from our resort, we could do the Skyliner. And that was fun. Like, I don't like heights, but it wasn't too bad as long as I didn't look straight down, and it was all enclosed. If my feet were hanging, it would be a hard no. But as it was fine. And we got our first big taste of the heat, and it was hot. But it was a really fun day. We did several rides, including the Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway. So much fun. We did that one twice. We happened to be walking by where they did a Mickey and Minnie meet and greet, and it was inside. And when we were walking by, it was like a 10-minute wait. So we're like, let's stop there. And, you know, it's 10 minutes. And it was inside. So we went and did that. We didn't meet any other characters. We did not set out to meet them. It just happened to work out. So they got to meet Sorcerer Mickey and then like movie star Minnie. And that was kind of a fun surprise. And then, you know, just some rather random pictures, but it was a fun day. We didn't stay for Fantasmic, which I think I'm saying that right. That's the fireworks there. Which we thought about doing, but we'd already had, you know, we were like, okay, we're going to definitely stay for the fireworks at Magic Kingdom. So we'll skip the fireworks this time. Next time we go, we'll definitely stay for the fireworks. But it was a lot of fun. It was a very fun day. It was a good way to start it off. The next day we went to Universal. And by the way, both these obviously are stickers from the Happy Planner book. We're back to things from, which I didn't go crazy with decorations. We're back to June Cocoa Daisy stuff. We didn't actually ride any rides except for the Hogwarts Express here at Universal. Because really it's faster rides for bigger kids, you know, but we still had fun walking around. We got them the interactive wand, so they got to perform the magic at Harry Potter, and we did both parks so that we could ride the Hogwarts Express. And we went over and saw like Jurassic Park because my son loves Jurassic Park. I have a picture of him also with Kong because he's obsessed with like all things monsters. And we found Jaws, so the kids wouldn't put their heads in, so my husband and I did it. So yeah, that was Universal. It was hot, and this was the day we stopped and got caffeine because we realized they didn't have much in the way of caffeine on Disney parks, so we're like, we're gonna need some caffeine. This day we went to Kennedy, and if you watch my plan with me, I talked about it some, but the pictures are hard to see because I didn't zoom in on my pictures, but because I didn't want to degrade it. But right here, there's a tiny little bit you can see. And then right here, we watched a rocket launch into space. We just happened to be there on the right day. I had bought tickets in May. It just happened to work out. It did require us to sit in the sun for an hour and a half to save our seats in order to watch the rocket launch, but definitely worth it. It was such a cool experience. We didn't even get to all the buildings here. So this is definitely a go back to place because my husband loves, like, his dream job honestly would be to work at NASA. He's an engineer. He does works with GPSs and watches and things like that now, building that stuff, but his dream job would be NASA. So this was like his day, and it was a really good day. It was a lot of fun. There was so much to see there. And because we sat here, the rocket didn't launch until almost 11. We didn't really have time to get around to all the buildings, which is fine. Again, we'll put it on the list of places to go back to. At the end of this day, though, at Kennedy, we went to the pool, and we went to the Nemo pool because they had different buildings at the Art of Animation. So there was a Cars, Finding Nemo, Lion King. Those are all the family suites. And then they also had buildings with like regular rooms that was like The Little Mermaid. Not far from us, we had a cone pool for Cars themed right by our buildings, but not very far away was the big pool, which was the Finding Nemo. It had like the walk-in entry and a splash pad and all that. So we went over to the Finding Nemo pool this day with the walk-in entry, and so we stopped by there and I took pictures of them playing in the splash pad, not really in the pool because both of us need to be in the pool for them. Because she's not the strongest swimmer, and these two really don't swim. I know, I'm working on it. But it was a lot of fun. It was kind of a fun way to end that day. The next day was the big day, and I hardly took any pictures. Like, this is the extent of the pictures I took. I don't know what. It was hot, it was a long day, and I just didn't take any pictures, and I'm a little sad about it now, but that's okay. We went to Magic Kingdom, which is my favorite park. So, which again, we also back to the Happy Planner Mickey book because, like, I feel like I have to. And like I said, I didn't decorate a ton. I kind of made the pictures and the writing be featured. But this day, we didn't get there at rope drop, but we did stay until it was almost 11 by the time we got back. So it was over a 12-hour day. It was a very long day, but the kids held up great. I mean, she's 5, and she did amazing. Had to find lots of places to cool down because it was so hot. But we rode so many rides. We did go into the Monsters Inc. laugh floor, and then by the time we came out, it was like a huge thunderstorm. We're like, where did this come from? And I thought there was a store around the corner that we were going to duck into. Turned out to be another ride. So we ended up riding a Buzz Lightyear, like Ranger Shooter, I don't know what it is, ride to wait out the storm. And then it's like, I don't mind we're walking in the rain, which it was just drizzling at that point. People are still like ducking under cover. But it's like, we've walked in worse to get to school. And I just want to have a purpose. If I'm walking in the rain, I want to know where I'm going and not just be meandering. So it wasn't bad, but it cleared up enough to do the fireworks. However, because the sky was still kind of like grumbly and weird, there was like lightning strikes. It kind of looked like Villain's Castle in the background. But we stayed for the fireworks. Very cool. That was fun. So this was my favorite day, but it was exhausting, which meant the next day when we did Animal Kingdom, we certainly did not get up early. And this was actually our shortest day. Animal Kingdom, a lot of people I'd heard love Animal Kingdom. To me, it felt like just a zoo. I mean, Animal Kingdom, they themed stuff so much better than a zoo does. The theming, everything was beautiful, but I don't know, maybe we were just done, and maybe we just couldn't fully appreciate Animal Kingdom because of it. But we walked around to each of the areas. We looked at the animals, didn't do any rides, no shows, nothing. Ate at the Rainforest Cafe, and then we're like, okay, we're done. And we went back and played in the pool and packed up so we could leave the next day, which was super sad. I don't have pictures from the pool because we went to the cone pool, which is not a walk-in entry, no splash pad, so I didn't take pictures. But this was our last park. Next time we want to take them to Epcot. We might skip Animal Kingdom and do Epcot instead. But and then on our way home, I kind of combined these 3 days of travel together. So the first day right here was just traveling. It was just a day of driving where we got to a place in Georgia. We were going to go up on the northern, like almost to the Tennessee border. We were going to go to Russell Cave National Park, but we decided to change that up. We skipped that, headed straight for St. Louis this next day, and did the arch, which we were going to do anyways. But we, instead of doing the arch on the last day, we did the arch this day so we could just head straight home on the last day. So we went and did the Gateway Arch because, I mean, I grew up on the other side of the state in Kansas City area, but, you know, I've been to the arch. But we thought it'd be a fun thing to do. Plus, they have the Junior Ranger program, so we went up into the arch, and it was fun. Ate some more White Castles, and then the next day we got up at like 5 a.m. to go home, and so we were home by like 9 something. But I didn't really have enough to justify a day each here, so I just combined it into one, and I think that works. And then we like to play the license plate game. So I had printed this sheet out before we left, and then as we saw plates, I colored it. So we were only missing Alaska, Hawaii, which I figured. We're also missing New Hampshire and Delaware were the only states we didn't see. North Dakota, I was trying so hard to find, and we found it on the way home on the last day. Just drove right by us at like 5:30 in the morning. It's like, what are the chances? Wyoming was the other one that was our holdout until like this day. Everything else we pretty much saw on like the first day driving across Missouri. So I put that in here because I thought that's a fun memory to be like, see all the states that we saw. And then this stuff is back to Coco Daisy's stuff, which she had a bunch of license plates, which I was like, what am I going to do with those? And this seemed like a good place. I kind of ruined that when I put it down. But yeah. So what I'll do is I will just flip the page and keep going. I didn't leave a space in between and the pages like I did last year, and I think that that is fine. I think it's, you know, I left, you know, like I'd have a trip and then I would leave a page and go on to the next trip. And whether I meant to do it or not, I decided not to skip because it felt like a waste of pages. And this way we can just flip through all of our 2024 outings and trips. And yeah, so this is how, this took me a good chunk of the afternoon. A few days ago, I just sat down and did it. I thought about doing it on camera, but to be perfectly honest, it's just a lot. And a lot of it was just gluing and writing and just trying to, you know, whatever. So I just kind of decompressed from our trip and watch something and put down our pictures. And yeah, I really like how it came together. I'm glad I went with the bigger size so I could get all of my pictures in. And yeah, so that is my travel journal, and then it'll just sit in here. I do need to kind of figure out, like I said, if I just want to put together a travel like place to put, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these yet. But I like to collect them, so I don't know, I'll figure it out. I thought about using them as like backgrounds or journaling, but I didn't end up doing it. So in the meantime, I just kind of have them. But that is my travel journal. I don't know how exciting that was because it wasn't me putting anything together, but I thought I would show you that it doesn't have to be overly complicated. Like some of these travel journals that people have are beautiful, but they look like a lot of work. Or sometimes for me, I'm like, I would never think to even do that. But I feel like this is something that anyone can do. It's not overly complicated. It's, you know, but it's still fun to look at. I can still see all my pictures and it triggers memories. And yeah, and I feel like that's what a travel journal should be. So if you like the overly complicated, go for it. If you've been a holdout on travel journaling because the overly complicated is too much, it can be simple. And yeah, so I'm gonna stop rambling because I feel like I've rambled way more than I needed to. And thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.